This is Artist Romero from Cosmic Poetry Radio. I want to say thank you for supporting Cosmic Poetry Radio, and I have an announcement to make. New episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio will be every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 7 p.m. Central Time. Expect new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio. You can check us out on YouTube and also on Facebook at Artist Bernie, and also at Jamarius Jones, and also at Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary. I want to say thank you to my friends at Arm in Arm for Climate, at Mississippi Rising Coalition, my friends at Worldwide Access Studios, and you. All right. When we first started out on this journey, we had no idea where we were going. We just knew that we wanted to take peace and love and the people with us. And now we see ourselves in this situation with no place to go but up. So thank you very much for your support. Every Thursday, new episodes of Cosmic Poetry Radio, 7 p.m. Y'all stay close. This is my passion, and the most creative expression that we can pull together. A format to separate facts from feelings so the information flows a little bit better. I've been groomed by the great ones. I do more than just make it rhyme. I make it make sense on a level so there's no doubt in your mind that you heard the truth the first time. That's why I'm able to step out with no fear and know that I can deliver. So less talking unless it's poetry. Don't move unless there's purpose behind it. This is a mental picture developing in front of you, and there's good intentions behind it. My name is Artist Romero, and this is Cosmic Poetry Radio. I chase it. I want it. If nothing more than just to flaunt it. My savior. It even has God's name on it. I sell everything to get it, for the opportunity to flip it. And if nobody's looking, I'm not above stealing it. It's the one thing that I can say is always on my mind. Invest my energy, risk my health, become a slave to time. And if BP got more money than God, then who do I pray to? Man, even if it's on your throat, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And who's to blame when everybody is wrong? So, just in case this message don't reach you in a song. My name is Artist Romero. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio, broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. We're gonna get it right into this thing. This is part 2 of Colette Pichon Battle. You stay close. Tonight's show is brought to you by armandarmforclimate.org, and this is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
We're connected to national work on climate, and we're connected to international work to build out a network of climate leadership that is invisibilized and forgotten because it is in the Black diaspora that was created through the transatlantic slave trade that was driven by colonization, imperialism, and capitalism, which, my friends, I will tell you, are still the root cause of this global problem that we are in today. This is hard stuff, because I'm talking about history. No, you didn't do it, but yes, we all did it. We're all a part of this nation that is still wreaking havoc on the planet. And I'm evidence of what has happened in the past. And you are all now witnesses, and I would say actors, in what we choose to happen for the future. This is a few maps of Louisiana that it's important that you see before you leave this great state. The map at the top is oil and gas, pipelines, and platforms. And I just want you to know that when I say we sacrifice for this nation, I need you to know what I'm talking about. We have given this state as a sacrifice to the nation and its needs for oil and gas. It is coming at a price. The picture in the middle is just a picture of our great state. It's how you see it in most of your books, in most of the school books. You still see that. But that's not actually a true image of Louisiana. The one at the bottom shows the land loss that is predicted. Right now, if you saw a true map of Louisiana, you probably wouldn't recognize it. And where I live is going to be an invisibilized space. I need you to understand that the impact of climate is real, it is here, it is now, and it's not just coming from a storm across the water. It is coming from industry that is putting greenhouse gases in the air, that is accelerating a climate crisis, that is getting to extreme weather, that is bringing storms to these shores, that is bringing up the water column and the sea level rise. We are causing the future that we fear. We are directly responsible for the loss of land in this great state and the loss of tradition and communities like mine, because we want to be comfortable, because we don't want to have to pay attention to what's happening to other nations so we can be comfortable. We suffer the fate of the global South here in the Gulf South, which is a place of sacrifice and extraction for privilege so we can be comfortable. And it is harming and killing and erasing communities like mine. We have to have people whose job it is, whose work it is, to hold the land, to make sure that the land is all right. I think I might be talking to the right crew. I want you to see this map, and all you need to know is that dark is a lot and light is a little bit. This is energy use per person. This is from 2021. And I need you to know that if we're going to handle issues on land, we're going to absolutely have to talk about energy and energy production in this country. I don't need you to know anything except the dark colors are us. We use a lot. We use a lot even when we don't need it. I came in here and was freezing. It's really cold. That's the way we do it in New Orleans, by the way. It just gets hot in the summertime. We like to keep everything cold. But like, do we have to get energy from a poisonous solution at the end of this? Can't we find something more sustainable if we want to be comfortable? I think the answer is we must. I know the answer is we must. The next generation needs us too, but just check out this map. Because often in our country, we like to point the finger, usually at China, by the way. That's the first question I get. What about China? Aren't they emitting more? Okay, sure, yes, yes. You may all have that one. And then what about us? And what have we been doing for historical time frames that have gotten us to this point? Energy consumption is driving the climate crisis. Louisiana and Texas, two of the largest oil and gas producers of this nation, we are both at the front lines of the problem, and I believe we can be at the front lines of the solution. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. What we must ensure is justice, which is not inevitable. It's not a given, and it's not a foregone conclusion. And to be quite honest, friends, we don't have the best track record of it. Sorry, we don't. How do we do justice? Is it a DEI program at our organization? That's a good start. But don't think for one moment that's enough. It's nowhere near enough. We're not just talking about how to be good and how to be better. We have to talk about how to repair harm. We don't just get to acknowledge that harm was done. We have to actively repair it as part of a solution to go forward. This is difficult. It is. It is, and many of us have been taught that our solutions should be easy, linear. We should be able to see them and put a little timestamp on it. That is not the problem, and that will not be the solution. This is a complex problem. Many of us are going to have to do a little self-work, because what is really, really harming our country and our ability to lead is fear. Your fear, which I was reminded by a labor leader in New Orleans last night, your fear is a natural emotion. You need it. We need it. We don't want to throw fear away. But you must recognize when your fear is being manipulated. You must recognize when folks are taking that very natural emotion of yours to make you scared of the person next to you, to make you fear other people having access to housing, to water. You have to recognize when your fear is being used against you, and you have to get control of it. You don't have to throw it away. Your fear is a natural instinct, and we're going to need it for this climate future if you haven't been reading what's coming. You're going to need to know how to get out of the way and how to discern the moment, but you're going to have to also know when your fear is being manipulated to draw your attention away from the issue. Fear leading to this sense of scarcity. What do we have? A nice house? A nice car? Some letters behind your name? If you don't have a planet, if you don't have water, if you don't have land, you have nothing. And right now, that future, that pretend, that maybe future for some of you is a current reality for too many people in our country. We have people in our country who do not have a place to lay their heads, who do not have access to water. Water is being privatized. Privatized. Water. You ought to be appalled as people who love this place, this earth, and this land. There are some things that you get to make a dollar on, and there are some things that are non-negotiables, and everybody has a human right to. Land, water, energy, these are things you need to survive. You mean to tell me you don't get access to survival unless you have money or privilege? We're losing ourselves, friends. We're losing our soul. If what we believe is that you have to have resources to access water and a safe place to be. These are hard conversations. It's going to take courage to overcome fear. And now this is the work that you have to do. A commitment to self-transformation, say the Hermes principles, a commitment to changing yourself. You don't need to point at anybody else until you check yourself. Do you really believe that someone is less than you, that someone's life is less than yours? Do you really believe that? You need to check yourself. Do you really believe that those people over there don't have a right to things that you have a right to? You need to check yourself. And then your organization, your church, your community, and your family need to shift how they live in the world, starting by what we consume. Our work is to change ourselves. If the United States can get together and change the way our government moves and the way our industry moves, we can save the planet. We can do it. Do we have the courage to? Do you have the courage to be uncomfortable? Do you have the courage to see beauty in something someone has told you forever has been against you, or is something less than you, or is something not worthy of you? You have been lied to, my friends. You have been lied to. And some of it is in your veins, it's in your soul. You've been hearing it for generations. How, if you believe that I am less than you, will you ever follow me? How will you listen to the wisdom that I bring from generations on the land that I live on? You won't hear me if you don't value me. And we have to value each other equally. I want you to understand that our work is in this region. Yes, we point to the South for all of the problems of the South. We got them. I'm not going to act like we don't have them. We got them. And you got them too. You have them too. I've been to Seattle. I've been to California. I've been to Massachusetts. I've been to Illinois. You got them. You have the same problems we have. Let's see if we can tackle them together. We're creating the scarcity that we're afraid of. We're creating the future that will destroy us. We have a choice. What we need to do is grab, control, and manage our fear. And what do we do with that energy of fear? We reimagine. We create. We give our love to the artists and the culture bearers who sometimes are a little bit, sometimes they get a little out of the universe. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to stay in the lines. But if we stay in the lines, we won't win. They got to teach us how to be creative. We're going to have to understand that the bigger fights for justice, queer liberation, housing rights, reproductive rights, all of these things are part of a transformed system. It is not good enough to shift from one to the other. We must transform the entire system that we live in. You don't even have to actually agree with people. You just have to support what it is to be free. You just have to support the concept of liberation and liberty. That's all we're asking. And it means everybody gets to be free. You don't get to control anybody's body, anybody's movement, or anybody's land. And so I want to offer to you, my dear conservationists, rethink that word. It is rooted in a type of oppression that we don't always talk about. To tame and control and claim the land so that we can visit it from time to time, vacation on it here and there. That is not the indigenous way of understanding land. Land, you are part of the land. It is part of the people. You are on it, you are in it, you are of it. What happens to that land happens to the people on that land. It is important for us to not just conserve and preserve land to enjoy in our recreation time, but to conserve and preserve land because it is the answer to this climate question. We should take down no more trees. In this situation, We need the land and the trees to just suck up what we're putting in the air. All of you, no matter the political affiliation, should agree. No more trees down. We'll use the ones we got. Have you seen the stockpile at Home Depot and Lowe's? We got plenty. We got plenty. No more trees. They're taking down old growth forests in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Mississippi to send wood pellets to Europe so that Europe can claim it has gone to renewable energy. We should just say no. We absolutely have to honor the water. That means everybody in this room ought to fight against the notion of privatizing water. Check your municipal system. $10 says it probably has been privatized already. You don't have access to water unless you have money. We should all be in agreement that water is life and water is a human right, and access to it should not and does not require resources or money. Everybody gets water. We have to honor the water, we have to free the land, and we're gonna have to democratize energy. We don't just get to shift to renewable energy. That cannot be the stance of your organization. We have to shift to justly sourced, sustainable, renewable energy. Justly sourced means the natural and raw materials that we use to make it cannot come from a conflict zone in Africa and South America and Asia because we want to make windmills. It means we're going to make windmills. Let's use some of the stuff we already have. I was recently in West Africa in a place that has very few resources. They started recycling bits of steel to make their windmills. Why don't we recycle? We got to go steal, we got to go extract things from other places, cause conflict, fuel conflict, so that we can feel better about our manufacturing jobs. We're looking at this the wrong way. We have enough. We lack only imagination. We lack only the courage to change. And that is what I'm asking you to join me in today. My time is almost over, so what I'll say is this. It is an honor to have you in my home. This is one of the greatest places on earth. I learned 17 years ago that this was a place I would fight for and a place that I will die for. But this is also a place that has global significance in a global narrative. I was in Scotland last year at the climate talks, and people talked about this place in the global conversation of climate change. Not just the impacts of what climate change has done to our space and our land, but the opportunity that Louisiana and the United States has to lead a better, more sustainable future. We do not have to give in to fear. We do not have to give in to nihilism. We don't have to say it's over. We can fight. We can win. But we can only do it together. You're going to have to see me and value me the way you see and value other people in your community, and it's not that easy. You've been taught not to. I've been taught not to. It's in our social system. We will not get out of this with just those poor people getting hit by that storm. That's not how this is going to go. If we get hit, you're going to get hit. If we survive, you survive. It's going to take all of us to have the courage to move through fear, to rebuild the community, to move away from individualism that breeds that scarcity, that tells you to hoard and conserve in a way that means building fences. This one's going to take us reconnecting, coming back to these annual meetings, reconnecting with each other as just humans, not as people who can give you what you need, but just as humans. We reconnect, we rebuild our community, we collectivize, and we survive. And friends, surviving is the least that we can do. Down here in South Louisiana, we can show you how to thrive. You can see how to party. You can see what music, hear what the music should sound like. You can taste what the food should sound like when you survive. It's this good, the music, the food, and the air, because we have survived so much. We've been on the front lines before. You want to know how to survive this thing? Ask us. Welcome to Louisiana. Welcome to this future. I had an alligator up there because I go see those alligators every morning I'm here. I'm a Bayou girl. They don't scare me. They're all right. Don't worry, they're okay. But those alligators are older than dinosaurs. 500 million years is what I've heard. They're older than the dinosaurs. They're still here. They're in my backyard. This is a place of not just resilience, but resistance. This is a place of not just people, but of community. Welcome. Welcome to this family. Welcome to this community. We will only win if y'all fight with us. And I say thank you for agreeing to fight with us. Thank you, friends.
Finally managed to put together a network of solid citizens committed to putting the community first. Arm in arm is how we move, because there is no weak link in this chain. Like a phoenix or a rocket ship, we got Mississippi rising again. Mississippi for a Green New Deal, because we have to. We can make this magical blue mystique work in favor of me and you instead of the opposite. You give a Cosmic Poetry Radio worldwide access and nothing can stop this. The country, the community, the culture, the future. This is not the same Mississippi that history's gotten used to.
On Time Mobile Tire Shop Roadside Assistance Services Semi-Truck Jumpstart. Semi-Truck Jumpstart. Semi-Truck Diesel Fuel Delivery. Box Truck Diesel Fuel Delivery. Semi-Truck Vehicle Lockouts. Glad Hand Seal Replacement. Red and Blue Air Line Replacement. Green Electrical Line Replacement. Semi-Truck and Trailer Light Testing. And electric brake testing. Semi-truck air tank water draining. And air tank PSI pressure build-up. On Time Mobile Tire Shop Roadside Assistance Services. Call 228-235-7342.
Our level of consciousness is begging to be raised. And I've been obsessing over how to provide you with an escape. Unplugged, closer to nature. Throw our spiritual selves out into the universe and see where the good energy takes us. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a time and space dedicated to the artistic spirit and every time it decides to create. Self-healing, healthy eating, sharing information about what healthy humans need. And when the time is right, a party like you wouldn't believe. Step into the future. Leaving the Matrix has evolved into this. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a next level social experiment about peace and love. Broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. Tonight's show is brought to you by arminarmforclimate.org. Check them out at arminarmforclimate.org. Read the climate demand and sign the climate pledge. Please and thank you. My name is Artist Romero, and whether you wear it on your clothes or the way you style your hair, there's originality somewhere in there. Your creativity shines through even when you don't mean for it to. And the way you love somebody, well, that says everything there is to say about you. And who better to give a commentary on your place in the world than the creative spirit that flows directly through your words? I mean, the most natural thing in the world is fear, ignorance, and superstition. Because we are all a part of the same human condition. We're making room for growth in the midst of loving and living. You see, I am a spiritual being, and I accept all of this as just a part of my human experience. This is the ancient Mississippian. You stay close. This is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
There is a story the Cherokees tell, a story of the creation of the world. When a gigantic buzzard flew over the earth while it was new and soft. When he reached Cherokee country, he was tired, and his wings flapped against the ground, pushing the earth down in some places and piling it up in others. This is how the mountains and the valleys were made. But the Cherokees, the Creeks, the Seminoles, the Chickasaws, and the Choctaws are relatively recent in this part of the world. As members of the 5 civilized tribes, they are perhaps the best known of the southeastern Indians. Between 700 and 900 AD, a new culture arose, a civilization the likes of which had never been seen in North America. This was the Mississippian era, when the great temple mounds of the southeast were built. These massive earthworks, some of them measuring hundreds of feet around at the base, were built and rebuilt over a period of many years, gradually growing taller and taller. These distinctive flat-topped earthen mounds provided a foundation for temples, for chiefs' houses, and for other buildings important to the lives of the people of the Mississippian culture. The mounds faced a large open plaza, an area that was the center of communal life in Mississippian society. The plaza served as the village commons, as a playing field, and as a place for the rituals and ceremonies that were so important to these river people. During this period, agriculture began to play a larger role than ever before. The Mississippian people became increasingly dependent on cultivated crops like corn and beans, and their homes became more permanent as they stayed in one place to tend their crops. Along the Etowah River in North Georgia, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of a flourishing Mississippian community. At one time, several thousand people may have lived here, in a town that surrounded a number of large mounds. The largest was the Temple Mound, 63 feet high and covering 3 acres at its base. The Etowah Indians were skilled craftsmen, and the artifacts they left behind give us a glimpse into the lives of the people who lived here. Along with other Mississippian communities, they developed an extensive trade network, and they exchanged many of the raw materials used in their art that celebrated the glory of their chiefs and warriors. But as rich and grand as the Mississippian culture was, it couldn't withstand the pressures that arrived from a distant land. When Hernando de Soto landed on the coast of Florida in 1539, he came with authority from the Spanish crown to conquer, pacify, and populate the land. The Indians, superior fighters that they were no match for the guns, armor, and horses that accompanied de Soto and his men. As they plundered their way through the southeast, they tortured and killed many of the Indians who resisted them. The Spanish were followed by the French and the British, who established missions and trading posts throughout the southeast. They forced the Indians not only to work for them, but to accept and adapt to European customs and beliefs. The old way of life, the Mississippian way, was destroyed. For the next 3 centuries, the tentacles of European colonization reached deeper and deeper into Indian territory. The Indians became increasingly dependent on manufactured items offered by British and French traders. Things like knives, axes, kettles, blankets, cloth, rum, and most especially, guns. No longer able to rely on the natural world to meet all their needs, the Indians traded their most valuable commodity, deerskins. But along with the hides, they gave away something else, a way of life that had sustained them for generations. It was around this time that the southeastern Indians reorganized themselves to form the Indian societies of the Old South. Societies like the Cherokees, Creeks, Choctaws, Chickasaws, Catawbas, and Seminoles. One of the largest groups, the Cherokees, established the capital of their nation at New Echota in North Georgia. This was the seat of their centralized government, where they would gather to pass laws, hold court, and publish a Cherokee newspaper. But by the early 1800s, the Cherokees, along with the other Indian societies, found themselves squeezed into increasingly smaller territories. The southeastern Indians didn't simply fade away. Some of their culture remains today, their influence reflected in a surprising variety of ways. Many towns and rivers take their names from Indian words. Chattahoochee and Oostanala and Ogeechee, Tallapoosa and Tallulah and Conasauga. There are medicines first used by the Indians. Willow bark, for instance, from which our modern-day aspirin is derived, and ginseng, a popular herbal remedy. There is tobacco, the first cash crop grown in the South. There are foods like corn and squash and beans, pumpkins and sunflower seeds. And there are thoroughfares. Our railroads and older highways are in large part located on the same game trails and trade routes used by the Indians.
You finally managed to put together a network of solid citizens committed to putting the community first. Arm in arm is how we move, because there is no weak link in this chain. Like a phoenix or a rocket ship, we got Mississippi rising again. Mississippi for a Green New Deal because we have to. We can make this magical blue mystique work in favor of me and you instead of the opposite. You give a Cosmic Poetry Radio worldwide access and nothing can stop this. The country, the community, the culture, the future. This is not the same Mississippi that history's gotten used to.
On Time Mobile Tire Shop. Roadside Assistance Services. Mounting and Balancing. Fuel Delivery. Emergency Mobile Tire Shop. I-10 Mounting and Balancing Tires. On the highway service. Can fix your flat tire on the road. We service customers' home location. Battery jumpstart, vehicle lockouts, flat tire repair. Call 228-235-7342 or Google On Time Mobile Tire Shop.
Our level of consciousness is begging to be raised. And I've been obsessing over how to provide you with an escape. Unplugged, closer to nature. Throw our spiritual selves out into the universe and see where the good energy takes us. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a time and space dedicated to the artistic spirit and every time it decides to create. Self-healing, healthy eating, sharing information about what healthy humans need. And when the time is right, a party like you wouldn't believe. Step into the future. Leaving the Matrix has evolved into this. The Cosmic Poetry Sanctuary is a next level social experiment about peace and love. Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. We're broadcasting live from Worldwide Access Studios. Want to say thank you to 2Dub and the team for being the most consistent producers on the planet. Tonight's show brought to you by armandarmforclimate.org. Check them out at armandarmforclimate.org. Read the climate demands and sign the climate pledge. It's that easy. Please and thank you. Up next, the movie trailer from producer Akilah Scales. This is A Frantic Love, Part 4. You stay close. This is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
They didn't beat you. I did. He's all yours, Detective.
Welcome back to Cosmic Poetry Radio. Thank you once again for tuning in. Want to say thank you to Louisiana French Creole for the Ancient Mississippi documentary, and also to Colette Pichon Battle, and also to Akilah Scales for A Frantic Love Part 4, the movie trailer. Can't wait to see that. Featuring work from yours truly, Artist Romero. Want to say thank you to 2Dub and the Worldwide Access crew. You see, long after radio has drifted off to a lost radio goes, and you don't know my name anymore, you'll bump into songs on the streets and poems that look like me. And they'll walk up and tap you on the shoulders that didn't used to be, and I'll be like, yeah, that was me. Y'all be cool, and thank you once again. You finally managed to put together a network of solid citizens committed to putting the community first. Arm in arm is how we move, because there is no weak link in this chain. Like a phoenix or a rocket ship, we got Mississippi rising again. Mississippi for a Green New Deal, because we have to. We can make this magical blue mystique work in favor of me and you instead of the opposite. You give a Cosmic Poetry Radio worldwide access and nothing can stop this. The country, the community, the culture, the future. This is not the same Mississippi that history's gotten used to. This is my passion, and the most creative expression that we can pull together. A format to separate facts from feelings so the information flows a little bit better. I've been groomed by the great ones. I do more than just make it rhyme. I make it make sense on a level so there's no doubt in your mind that you heard the truth the first time. That's why I'm able to step out with no fear and know that I can deliver. So less talking unless it's poetry. Don't move unless there's purpose behind it. This is a mental picture developing in front of you, and there's good intentions behind it. My name is Artist Romero, and this is Cosmic Poetry Radio.
Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in. Tune in to Worldwide Access. Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in. Tune in to Worldwide Access. Worldwide, we worldwide. All you gotta do is just tune in.